to a Little Help podcast where understanding life cycles can lead to bigger and better changes. Hi, I'm April. And I'm here with Mignon. And we have our guest today. She was so great. It was episode 9, 10, 8. She was on episode 8. Okay, y'all know my age.
Here we go.
Y'all know my age. But we got Tashay back. She enjoyed us and we enjoyed her, and so happy that she's here.
Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey, happy to be back.
Yes. So we decided that we wanted to talk today about intuition.
Mm.
You know, because sometimes you wonder, you know, about, is it really my intuition?
Or is it anxiety?
Or is it yourself just talking to yourself? Is it bad spirits talking to you? Or is it the Holy Spirit? Sometimes you question yourself. Is that really my intuition? You know, so we've all had situations that has come up where our intuition kicked in.
Yes.
So who want to start off with a situation where that intuition kicked in and either you knew to do right or go left or go right?
I'll go. I'll start. Whew, child. When was it? 2014.
Oh, now you want me?
I feel like it was around 2014, and I was studying for an insurance test. I don't know. I was newly out of school and just trying to find a job, and so I went to this place, and they're like, pass the test, and you can, we'll get you on board and all that good stuff. Hardest test? Nope, can't even say that. Not the hardest test I ever took in my life. Actually, my therapy test is probably the hardest test I've ever taken in my life. Anyway, I was getting so frustrated. I was like just irritated because I had taken the test so many times, and for whatever reason, I just could not pass this test. And it was around the same time as homecoming at my undergrad college, university, alma mater. And so you were like, well, go to homecoming, have fun with your friends. You've been studying so hard, you deserve to just kind of relax, unwind. I'm like, okay, cool. But I had this feeling in the pit of my stomach that was like, something was wrong, something was off. And I think I told you that, and you were like, no, just go enjoy yourself. All right, cool. It's a trip that I've done so many times before. I drove down to Bloomington, hang out with...
You took my red car.
I did. She had a
red
red...
Eclipse.
Yeah, sports car.
Sports car.
Burgundy.
Burgundy, deep burgundy.
Yeah. So drove her car down there to Bloomington, hung out with my sorors, some of the frat, we're having a good time. And then we had like a little fish fry or whatever. So I had been drinking earlier on in the day. But I actually left the event and went and took a nap because it was a lot. It was a good time. It was a good time. Let's just say that. So I left the event, went and took a nap, and then some of my sorors, they were going out to go bar hopping. And so I was kind of like a designated driver. They did all the bar hopping. I sat in the car, I had some food, and I went to sleep. Because it was a long day. We had been doing this all day. So I'm like, yeah, I'm done. I'm pretty old. I wasn't old at that point, but I felt like it. So I'm driving us back home to one of my soror's apartments, and we get pulled over. The cop did not...
What time was it?
I don't know. It was in the middle of the night.
You said it was about 2, 3
Yeah,
in the morning?
It was really late. It was really late. Cop pulled me over. He says that the field sobriety test was not working. So then he took me to the police station. He arrested me, took me to the police station, and asked me to do the breathalyzer there. And then he said that wasn't working either. And so because that wasn't working, he said, well, you have to, we're going to take you to the hospital. You have to give blood. You have to have blood drawn.
What?
And at that point, I didn't know my rights. I didn't know anything. I didn't know, that I could refuse any of this. And I felt like I just had to do whatever they told me to do. So I do that, give blood. I used to give blood, like have no problems getting blood drawn. They had all the problems in the world. I had a huge bruise on my arm. And after I did that, they took me back to I guess like holding cells or whatever and made me stay. Now, what they did not tell me is that when you give blood, as opposed to going through with the regular breathalyzer, you don't get to call nobody. You don't get to just sit in there and sober up and then, get released after they feel like you're sober, like a drunk take. You have to stay there 24 hours, and if nobody bails you out or bonds you out within a certain time frame, you've got to stay there until you can see the judge on Monday.
Mm.
So thank God, 2 of my sorority sisters were in the car with me. They knew what happened. They called my mom. I think she sent money to bond me out, but I did still have to stay that full 24 hours. It was cold as hell in there. They would not, I had like a little tank top on. They took my jacket. I'm like, can I get a shirt or something? Like, I'm constantly asking, can I get a phone call? Can I call my mom? I need to let her know where I'm at. Like, I need to be able to communicate. And they were just like, no, like, just shut me down the whole time. So I ended up having to stay in Bloomington longer, go to court come Monday. Now, I don't want to make this a race thing, but I will say that there were a lot of white guys who were also in the drunk tank where the guys were, and they got deferral programs. This was like their first offense, and so they just got like a slap on the wrist and don't do it again. For me, I guess they say because I had to have blood drawn, I got a whole, misdemeanor? Class A or Class C misdemeanor. I had to do community service. I had to take classes. My license was suspended for a little bit of time. It was a lot. Like that, I had to jump through hoops. I had to hire an attorney. And I don't know why. I honestly don't know why I went through all of that to, get an attorney, because what ended up happening is it kind of just fell off after so much time, like 7 years or something like that. But it was a whole situation that took up too much time in my life. It made it very hard for me to get jobs. I was constantly having to explain why I had this misdemeanor when I'm applying for different jobs. And again, I was fresh out of college, so that was a majority of my life at that time. And yeah, I had that feeling initially, like something, it just didn't feel right. Like I was battling back and forth. Should I go? Should I stay at home? But I went, and that happened.
And you felt your intuition tell you not to go.
Mm-hmm.
And it was peaceful when it said, don't go.
No, it wasn't peaceful. It was a uneasy feeling in my stomach. And that's why I say, like, is intuition anxiety? Like a healthy amount of anxiety? Because that's that's how it shows up for me. It's like I feel uneasy. I feel like I'm worrying, I'm jittery. It feels weird.
I used to like when my intuition, would kick in. Now when it's like a no for me, when the spirit is trying to say no, that's not right, whatever, I get anxiety now. And like I told you, growing up, anxiety, never had anxiety. I never had anxiety. I never went through stuff like that. But now it's when I'm doing something that, you don't have no business doing. The Lord's trying to say, no, that's the wrong way. That's the wrong direction. You shouldn't. I get anxiety. And then I know I'll just stop whatever it is that I'm doing.
Yeah.
It could be something so simple as I'm online shopping. And I'll get that anxiety, like, put that phone down. You don't need nothing.
I feel that entirely too often. Need to have my phone across the room or something.
And then when I stop, it goes away. Literally goes away.
Yeah, mine is like a heaviness. Like if I don't feel like peace while making a decision, I feel like that's my intuition saying don't do it. It's just like heavy.
Because it can come to you, where you are doing right, you ask, but you have to be silent to hear it. You have to you have to be still.
And you have to know yourself too. You know what I'm saying? Like think about some situations that you were in and you like, oh my God, that was my intuition telling me this. You know what I'm saying? And this is the way I felt. And it's so like just being aware of your feelings and of yourself. And it's like, okay, that's intuition. Or, that's just me freaking out. You know what I'm saying? Like nothing happened and I felt like this, but something happened and I felt like this. So that was my intuition. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a situation. I worked midnights and my mom had to go and have a surgery done. I was tired. I'm like, I'm going home, go to bed. My little sister is there with her. And some kept telling me to go to the hospital. Go to the hospital. And as tired as I was, I said, let me just drive up in here and see, make sure everything's okay, And I get there, found out, where she was at, what floor, everything, went to the, visiting area where I figured, my little sister would be. But someone came and got me, because I said, well, I'm looking for my little sister, And when I got there, I was going down, I'm walking down the hall and, took me down and they were out to wheel her in to have her surgery. And I was like, well, hey, Ma, I stopped in, make sure everything was okay. Then I heard a nurse say Golson. And I looked at Mom, I'm like, is she talking to us? Because that's my mom's maiden name. And I said, yeah, that's us. And she said, well, I think her daughter fainted. I looked at Mom. Wow. I went in there. I said, hold up. I went in there where my little sister had fainted. She said, I gave her a ginger ale, but she had to be okay for Mom can be able to go in to have that surgery. So I just went and I said, okay, Mom, yeah, she fainted, but she's okay, but I'll just stay here the whole time until you're done with your surgery. So what if I hadn't followed my first mind, that intuition saying, stop at the hospital. That knowing, just listening, that's the Holy Spirit talking to you.
Yes.
That's yeah.
So you had a positive outcome to yours.
It's not always negative.
Yeah.
It's not always negative. That's just like, and when you hear it, it is more of a, especially if it's something like that, it comes in really quiet, really peaceful, really, But if you continue to ignore it, it's going to keep coming. It's going to come in different ways.
Yeah.
When you try to ignore that intuition.
Yeah.
It's going to keep coming. It's going to keep eating at you. It's kind of what happened to me before I left Indiana. Didn't know, Mom, of course, had passed. Oh, wait a minute. Shout out. Today is my mom's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy heavenly birthday. She would have been 92.
And she would have told you she was 29.
Yes, we all pass my mom's age.
Yeah, it honestly started to become a problem when I hit 29. I'm like, okay, now girl, we can't be the same age. You're going to have to increase or something. Something has to happen. And she wasn't having it.
Every birthday she was 29. Like, how old are you? 29.
I knew something was up when Julian hit 29 and she was still 29. You got the
You really thought she was 29 all that time that she kept saying
Oh, man.
Wow.
Listen, relax.
Wow.
Not too much on me, okay?
But anyway, I was, after she had passed and everything, and I was working, and, I delivered mail. So the back of our house, I got to pass it, see it, so it started becoming a problem because we sold the house and everything. That was a problem. It was very painful. I used to love going to my job, going to work, and I was, all of a sudden, it's like, I'm pushing myself, trying to make myself go. I wasn't feeling it. And it just hit me. It's like, why am I here?
Questions that need answers.
It's like, why am I here? So, and I really didn't realize that I was there, because of my parents. If something ever happened to my dad, if something ever happened to my mom, who's going to be here? Because my other sisters and brothers had left. Everybody had went on. I had, one sister that was here, Susan, who was still in Indiana. She was still here, but she wasn't reliable.
She had her own health issues.
She had her own health issues. She couldn't really help. But even before she had those health issues, Susan was always the scary child. Susan didn't leave home till in her 40s, and she didn't start driving till late, and she would never drive.
Not too much on her either.
She would never drive on the highway. She was a scary sister. So anyway, so I realized that I was here, my mom, but that played a part in me leaving, regardless of, I was trying to get transferred, and that wasn't coming through. And so I must have stayed in Indiana for another year, 2 years.
Honestly, I'm not sure. I was here for a full year before you came.
Yeah, and then I moved. I've been maybe about a year and a half later, but I kept feeling, I wasn't happy anymore. And I was dating, and that started kind of going south, and it was like, okay, I sold my house. It's just time for me to go. I just kept feeling it, and I felt it more and more. Come around November, December, it was like, it's time to go. It's time to go. I said, okay. Then I thought about it. I said, well, maybe if I stay here for another year, I can, save up. And I'm telling you, God said, I didn't tell you to stay here another year.
You got intuitive friends too. Because I can recall Latika, Tashay's mom, saying, this is when it's going to happen.
She did, bitch. She said, I could see it's gonna be. She said, you can say what you want to say, because I was trying to push it out. She said, but you're gonna be gone by the spring. You're gonna be leaving around spring. And then I told her, I said, you know what? I think I'm going here and push it out for another year. And she just sat back. She didn't say nothing.
Oh, that's her move.
That's her move. That's her move. She
don't really agree, she just don't even say nothing. It's just like
she like, I done told her. Nah, either you gonna listen to what I'm. So God, literally, I heard God say, "I didn't tell you to stay for another year." And by this time, the winter had passed. We were getting up into, So I think
you drove out for my birthday.
Came for your birthday? Yeah, that was August.
No, that was April.
That's
when you
I'm
moved.
sorry. Okay, but so I ended up, because I didn't even tell my friend. I knew I was going to be going, but because things weren't going so great, because your mom was like, you need to give a person, it's just like, a job, you need to give them, a 60-day notice that you're going. I said, look, they want a 2 weeks notice. She said, okay, but by right, you at least need to let them know 30 days that you're going to be leaving. I said, okay, fine, I'll do that. And I waited the 30 days to let him know, because I was already going through a lot with him, being mistreated, the mind games, not speaking, and that took a toll on me.
Ooh.
So
I didn't know it was this type of episode today. Jesus.
So I just, that was something else that pushed me to say, I can't deal with this anymore. I can't, so I waited the 30 days. I let him know I was going to be leaving. And I was gone. I left April 1st. I left April Fool's Day. I drove. I drove out here. Took me a couple of days. I had a friend to ride with me, Felicia. She rode out with me, one of my girlfriends. And that's how I left. You know, that intuition told me, it's like, it's time for you to go. I heard it so clear, it's time for you to go. And I spent a lot of time alone and by myself and in quiet. It was very peaceful when, you know, that word came to me.
Yes.
And when I tried to flip that word and say, okay, God, okay, you know, I'm going to go on here and go. He was like, I didn't tell you to wait another year. I kid you not, I heard that. I'm like, okay.
When he tell you to go, you better go because, I mean, he's going to get it out of you one way or another.
You can go the easy way or you can go the hard way.
Exactly.
Literally. It's, and even times where people that work a lot, work. When it's time, when he tell you you need to rest and you don't, and you keep going and you keep pushing yourself and you keep going.
Sit you down.
He will sit you down.
That happened to you too.
Yes, it did. It happened to me. It was one winter. I was going. We were doing like 10, 12 hours every day. And I was going up these steps and the steps were unleveled and ice, snow, we were working and you got to make it back.
I was talking about.
Okay. Well, this was the time. But I ended up coming down those steps and fell. And I chipped a bone in my ankle and
oh wow,
sat me down. It's things that he'll do to make you sit down.
I was thinking about when you got COVID.
That time, yeah.
Long COVID. You were sick from like October to January.
He sat me down. And that's why I say you can do it the easy way or you can do it the hard way. When you don't listen to him, when he say, you know, you need to rest or even with something like you need to drink more water. I've gotten that where I ended up dehydrated in the hospital because I wasn't listening. I heard it, but I didn't do it because I hate water.
You know, you shouldn't tell people that.
I do not like water. Water has a horrible taste to me.
Water has no taste.
Yes, it does. It's like drinking milk. You know, I don't drink milk. I hate milk. So I take the Crystal Light packets and pour it in my water. And, you know, and the doctor said that's cool as long as you're drinking water, you know.
What kind of doctor is this? I got questions.
For me to just drink plain water, and you know, I could drink water better if I put some of that real lemon in there. No sugar, not just real lemon with something.
So you want the water the water that has no flavor. You want it to have flavor.
Got to.
Something's wrong.
To just drink a plain bottle of water.
Something is wrong.
I love it. I love water.
But
gotta have it.
I wish I could. I got
my water right
I got
here.
Crystal Light in here.
Problematic.
You know, but I mean, just like you don't understand why I don't eat eggs. I hate eggs.
That's a preference. You can taste eggs.
Yeah.
You cannot taste water.
Yeah,
unless you drink Dasani. Then you got a different problem.
Okay, so anyway, let's get back on it.
Let me not be talking about these brands. Okay, go ahead.
Let's go. But you know, it's different ways that again you all feel the intuition and we've all felt it, you know. Like I said, even in relationships, you know, and you know something else that gets me with intuition is when you're doing something that you know you shouldn't be doing and you've done it, you know, dating. If you're dating and you know that you shouldn't be dating this person and you know, don't you all start to feel that conviction? You've never felt convicted?
I feel some things. Not convicted.
I'm scared to ask you what you
the things I feel are what make me stay.
Oh, I didn't know it was going to be this kind of show. What?
I'm just being honest.
But I'll start to feel you felt the conviction, Tasha. You say you felt it before and I will literally just be like, you know what, I can't do this anymore because I'm feeling too convicted. You know, it's like you want to repent and say, hey God, you know, I'm sorry, you know, and let it go.
Listen, one time it was so crazy. Like God literally told me, to leave this person alone.
Yes.
Okay. And so I'm just like, okay, one more time. It's gonna be all right. Just one more time and then I'm done.
Double back.
When I tell you, literally, I got sick. Like, we hung out or whatever, and then we were supposed to hang out later on that night. When I tell you, I got literally sick. And I tell people, like, I really feel like that was like a spiritual something. I couldn't get out the bed. I could not do nothing. When I tell you, that was the last time that I seen that person. I was just like, all right, God, you got it. You got it, because you've already told me to stay away. So no matter how you feel about this person, I see things that you don't see. And literally, like, after that person, I started dating somebody else. And I don't know, like, I feel like God is like, all right, I'm about to test you. So, like, this guy, financially, everything, but I felt just something. And I was just like, yeah, something ain't right. Something's not right with his spirit. And it was my intuition. It was mine. And then, like, even to this day, like, I don't really talk to him that much, but my pet just passed away and he found out about it. And he called to say, sorry for your loss or whatever. But instantly, my spirit just felt ruffled. Like, he didn't even do anything, but my spirit was just like, yeah, our spirits just don't align. And I felt that same feeling again. So that's just like intuition.
Wow.
I like how we are breaking this down and kind of adding a little definition to it, because if that's the case, and I have experienced that, I can say there is a specific name that when it pops up on my phone, and it only pops up around holidays, I get that feeling where it's like, nah, I feel uneasy. Let me just back away from this whole situation.
Yes. And I'm telling you, like, something that's for you is not, if God placed something in your life or someone in your life, it's not going to make you feel like that, because God doesn't come with confusion.
It's not going to be uneasy.
It's not going to be uneasy. It's going to feel like peace. Like you've been here before. Like you're supposed to be here. Yeah. So
it feels like a calmness. It's not a panic. You don't freak out. It's very peaceful.
Yeah. Like, even like, not even just relationships with guys, but like women too, like friendships.
Yep.
And it's just like, you know what I'm saying? Because you can be around a female, friend or whatever, and you just like, something ain't right with this chick. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to necessarily be sleeping with them or whatever. This could be just or a family member. And it'd be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, your spirit ain't right.
And
it could be,
you can kind of, as we're talking, you can kind of connect intuition with discernment.
Yes, it's the same thing to me. Yes.
With discernment.
Why do you think so many people struggle with discernment, though?
I didn't really start understanding discernment and learning about discernment and, how to discern people and who's for you, who's not for you, until I got older. Because, and again, a lot of this, I feel, stems from going inside of yourself and really learning.
Yes.
You got to learn who you are.
Yes. You got to listen to yourself and your feelings.
In order to grow and to gain wisdom.
Yes.
To learn how to discern people. It's funny, I had a coworker, and she wanted me to, well, you can go, in this room and work. And I said, no, I'll stay where I'm at. I said, because when somebody don't really care for you, you just tolerating a person because you have to, and you can feel that bad energy. It can happen at work. And I said, no, I'm going to stay right where I'm at. And I told her, I said, I know there's bad energy there. And
some people look at you crazy.
She was okay with it. She was like, oh, okay, well, I said, no, I don't mix the two.
Yeah.
If I feel you ain't, right, I'm.
Yeah,
I don't care where I'm at.
absolutely.
I've always felt,
Absolutely.
well, no, I won't say always. As I got older, I realized that you are really good at discerning people. And I'm not. Not all the time.
It takes growth and learning and
It
learning
does.
yourself. It takes time.
I remember
does.
when I was in high school and I had this friend, and you like, that is not your friend. And I'm like, ain't nobody trying to hear that. This not only is this my friend, it's my bestie for the restie.
Mm-hmm.
And nah.
Been through that too.
And I know who she talking
I
about.
learned that
Been
the
through that
hard
too.
way.
My
But you
mom did the same
couldn't
thing.
tell y'all nothing.
Nope. Mm-mm.
Y'all was like, this is my ride or die.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, like seriously. And then when things hit the fan, or like when you get into it with somebody, you kind of see like how they really feel about you, because
Mm-hmm.
I could not be feeling you right now, but I still love you. Like I don't
Mhm.
want nothing bad to happen to you, or you know what I'm saying? Like, no, it was just like, yeah, I hate you type of thing. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
but damn, my mama must have been right the whole time.
Well, and I guess because we've been through a lot. Of course, you guys are younger, and we're just watching, how they're interacting with you guys when you're together. And it was like she was more of a taker.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
She was more of a taker, and she had more of a giving soul, and she was more
Yes.
of, and then she was always controlling over her.
Why
And
do we attract people like that?
and I'm looking at this like,
Being a people pleaser.
Man, it's like it's always when you're younger, like you don't never really like, if you a giver, you always attract the person that takes.
Mm-hmm.
You never attract somebody that's a giver too. Well, not.
But I think that
It took
they
a
scope
while
you
for me to
out.
get that.
oh yeah,
I think
they
that-
prey
yeah.
on you. They'll sit back and prey on you. They'll watch you and they'll listen to you. They'll even listen to your conversation and how you talking and how you
Yeah,
And they
this
say,
was
oh,
for
easy
years
target.
with this one. Yeah, this one was a good one. It started in 4th grade.
Oof. Jesus.
So
That's too long.
This was a long time. Yeah, we went to high school together. I didn't start seeing things until like to high school, and even gave her a chance after high school.
When did you start recognizing that this person wasn't for you? She probably hated me for a while for saying that about her little friend.
I just I don't know. Probably after college. Actually, I could tell you exact moment, but I don't want to because it's too clear, too revealing. But no, I could pinpoint the exact moment. I was like, okay, got it.
Yeah.
I believe it was after college, after because I remember when I told you when I had got you the vehicle, and I told you why I waited to get you that truck.
I don't be remembering all this.
Oh, you don't remember all that? Okay.
No. I mean, I remember my truck. I don't remember the conversation that followed, but okay.
Okay. We're going to leave that one alone.
But yeah, moms know.
Well, you know what?
That intuition be on point when it come to your kids.
But it just wasn't us. My mom did that. My mom knew.
Yeah.
I had a friend, and she didn't like her. She didn't. The girl came and stayed over the night, and my mom did not like this girl. And I kid you not. She, like I said, she had come by. She had visited. She had spent the night and everything. And all of a sudden, she was leaving town. She was, So, back in the day, Mama was big on going to Armstrong's, and purchasing the jewelry and getting the sale.
This is a jewelry store?
Armstrong.
Oh, okay. All right, got it. Mental note.
There's some people out here that know what I'm talking about. Armstrong's. Okay.
Yeah, because I'm like, what's that? And
It was a jewelry store.
Like,
It was a jewelry
it has to
store.
be a jewelry store.
And
this is clearly before our time.
My mama would wait till she got the sale on top of the sale on top of the sale jewelry, So, also,
but always very nice stuff.
Nice stuff. So we ain't gonna talk about that. But so then I would start, going and finding me nice pieces and jewelry, rings and things, and putting them up and everything. And I went to go and find this one ring. And it was one ring that my mom had gave me. It was a opal ring. I still remember how that ring looked, I said, I went in my jewelry box and I went to go get, a ring. I was getting ready. Do you know all my jewelry was gone?
Mm.
Wow.
That girl had stolen all of my jewelry.
Mm. Mm.
Mm.
And my mama told me that she didn't care for her. I need to get away from her. I need to leave her alone. And I didn't do it. So it happened to all of us in our younger,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that it's God getting us prepared for the world. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mm-hmm.
in the world, like, they don't show up like, you know what I'm saying? They
Mhm.
look a certain type of way. They can look sweet. They can
Mm-hmm.
sound sweet. And it's just like, you just have to use discernment to know, like, what is what. And then how they treat other people, too.
Mm-hmm.
That's a clear indicator.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you start paying attention. As you get older, you see it.
Mm-hmm.
I see it all the time now. Say, oh, I ain't going in that. Nope. I already know this lady don't like me, and I don't know why.
I have started to notice people who are just kind of latching on to you, takers, like for what they can get out of the situation. And I
Mhm.
find that in my older age, it is much easier for me to just be like, nah, your vibe is off. You're not my type of person.
Yes.
I'm cool.
I've gotten really good with saying no. One sentence. No.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, back in the day, in your younger days, it's like, oh, I don't want to hurt their feelings.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You
no.
know, we cared and I could.
what was that?
Oh, Kyla, don't take that. The girl that put our videos out, she will pull a meme out on me.
She pulls gifts out.
Is that what
GIFs,
they call
gifts,
the gifs? I'd be like,
and they be funny as hell.
Why have I not seen these?
Oh. They are hilarious. I'm like, just don't do me.
she'll
We good.
send it to us in a text. Look at this, and I'd be like, this girl here, I have to fire her. I have to get rid of Kyla.
Mhm. She does a great job.
Yeah, she hasn't pulled none out on you.
She know better.
But yeah, you will get better with it. For you youngins out here that, you just got to go inside. You got to reach inside of yourself to see feel the feels. What made me
Yes.
feel, why am I feeling anxious? What's making me, why am I hearing this? Or why am I, God talk to us all the time.
It's kind of like emotion
Mhm.
mapping. That's what I teach my clients. What is it that you're feeling? Where do you feel it? What do you need to feel better about this situation? Let's map this out. Can you name the emotions that you're feeling in the moment and understand the triggers, right? Like,
Right.
how
The
do we get
triggers.
here?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
How do we move past this?
Mhm.
Because yes, we do need to feel the feelings, but we also can't like sit in them
No.
forever either. So what do
Right.
you need to feel better about this situation? Is it that this person makes you uncomfortable and you need to create a boundary or distance yourself from them? Okay, let's work towards that. Whatever it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because you have to learn to hear that intuition because it's there for a reason. It's there to give you that warning. It's not there to freak you out.
Right.
It's there to warn you.
Mhm.
And you need to listen to it. And again, you can not listen if you want to.
Telling you, he gonna make sure you get there one way or another. Okay.
It's
Because when I tell people my story, they just like, what? Like, yeah, God was telling me to do something. I didn't do it. And the way he had to get me there was crazy. That's another episode. But yeah, but it was crazy, but it changed my life forever. But if I would have took the route that he told me to
Yeah.
take, it would have been easier on me. You know what I'm saying? But hey,
That you didn't
it was a
listen.
lesson learned.
You wasn't listening.
I was not listening.
You just.
And I kept on saying, like, I don't know, I'm gonna just work this job and work this job. And God, like, girl, I did not just uproot you from there to here for you to just work another job. Like, I got something for you. I got something for you.
Mm.
Yeah.
And that's when you kind of went into the business, trying to,
Yeah.
you did
Yeah.
that for,
But he had to take everything from me and
from
put
you.
make my background look terrible. And I'm just like, God, this is not
Oof.
how I envisioned stepping into entrepreneurship. But it's like,
Mm-hmm.
if I wouldn't have done this to you, you
Wow.
would have never stepped into it. You know, you would have kept working.
Lesson in being
So
able to not
But
only
you were
just trust
told,
yourself, but also to trust in the Lord.
Mhm.
yes, that's
You were
it.
told early on.
Yes. Yes. Before I even came back home.
Mm.
Like I was like looking at space and I didn't know exactly what I was gonna do. I was selling hair at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But God had put something on me. Like I'm supposed to start a business. And really I thought that it was that, you know, selling hair and doing the wigs and stuff
Mm.
like that. And no, it wasn't.
Mm.
But to be honest, I don't even think that it was really what I did. Like God wanted me to touch certain people. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter if you selling hair or doing wigs or whatever. Like it's something that I need for you to do with women out here.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like you have a what do you call it? A ministry,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mhm.
it doesn't matter what you do. It's you,
Mhm.
and I need for you to be out there to do it.
Girl, I told y'all my story of doing this. I'm like, no, I ain't. Mm-mm.
Yeah,
How do you feel
yeah.
about that now?
Now, I can sit here and say I feel good about it.
Yes.
I would had never thought, I'm like, okay, God, what do you want me to do? He's like, okay, you did the punching of the clock, you worked hard, 25 years, you know. I'm like, okay. So I feel good about the podcast. I feel like, and I even get people to come and say, I listened to your podcast and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed, the conversation. Or I'll have people to come to me to say that really helped me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going through this or I'm going through that. I heard one girl was on a podcast and she just she literally had broke down and was talking about how somehow some of your family could be your own bullies. I just about fell out, and I'm just watching her podcast. So, I sent her a thing. Hey, watch this, just to see. And she's a young girl, she's like, you guys age, and that's what I want to do. I'm here for that, to help the youngins, because
Right.
we all been through some stuff. And I can, like I said, if I can help you to skip some steps,
Exactly.
that you don't have to go through that, I've been there, done that. I can tell you what's gonna happen. I can tell you how it's gonna end up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I just want to help them to, cut some steps out.
Yeah.
So if I can help some
Well,
people, I want to be, because, I got poked, yeah, God kept poking at me to do it. I didn't know what he wanted me to do. He kept poking at me to do it. Like I said, he'll keep pulling until you do what he's asking you to do. And like,
it's heavy too.
it came heavy. And that's why, like I said, she kept on saying, well, she started, in August. And that's why I was so, and she probably don't understand
when God
it.
poke you, do you have to then poke me?
Yeah. Because she kept on. And remember, Tasha, she's like, well, I thought you were going to come on. You got to, and we were, trying to get, So she ended up going around. I guess she got so sick of me.
Understatement.
So she started writing down these places to go and look at, studios and stuff. And girl, that's how we ended up here at Vegas Podcast.
So God had to
Studio.
use it all. He had to use all of us to get to where we needed to be. We had to get on Mignon nerves, and we had to get on her nerves for her to go and say, "Okay, well, let me go look for some space." And now
But it all had to do
we
with,
out
like,
here.
that intuition. It's like, when God speaks to you, but she didn't understand why I was like, okay, I got to do this. Because it was that feeling that, guys, once I found out my purpose, because you always ask, why am I here? Why am I on earth? What is my purpose? What am I supposed to be doing? And
I ask you every week, why am I in this room with you?
Because you enjoy it. She started to enjoy it.
Who said that?
She's enjoying it now. So that's why it was the urgency, because she was like, I'm not trying to, and just wait until, and she kept trying to push me back, telling me to wait. That's like telling God, Mignon said, wait.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
God put this in you, not in a me.
Right, but he also give us, people to help us also.
Yes.
He
Yes.
allows.
Well, he need to start talking to me and telling me these things.
Oh, no, you don't
because-
listen.
Obviously, he did when you got up and got to moving and looking for stuff.
No,
But
I just got tired of her.
Right. It popped up in a different type of way. You know what I'm saying? It got the job done. Whichever way he delivered it.
However he delivered it.
It got the job done.
Got to be more careful.
But it's amazing, and Tashay what's amazing. I mean, it's like this episode right here is episode
10.
10.
This is the end of our season.
This is the end of season 1.
Oh.
So so this is our last one for season 1, and we'll be starting season 2.
So you're gonna get them a little sneak peek of season 2, right?
Well, I am, but before I do that,
okay.
I do want to thank the guests that came on here with us for season 1. We had Mick.
Yeah.
Mickey. We had my girlfriend Latika. We had Ariana. We had her mom Leslie. We got
Leslie twice.
We got Tashay. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. It was a pleasure. My pleasure. I love it. I plan on being on season 2.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, you're gonna. She's gonna jump on that one.
Yes.
Okay.
I plan on coming there, so I can literally
come here. Yeah. You mentioned that. I can't wait. Wait. And we even talked about having maybe a couple of guys maybe on the next season, so we can get their viewpoint. A man's viewpoint of thing. I would love that.
Yes,
I would love that. Yeah.
Oh, we could get Melvin. Don't do my best friend.
And I love Melvin, but it's kind of like your cousin Kyla. I don't know. Can we?
Kyla gonna be on here too.
Tone it down some.
I'm gonna bring Melvin and Kyla on together.
Oh God, no.
And that's gonna be a vibe.
I'm just gonna get up and walk out. I'm just gonna walk out on him too. But I'm happy I did it. I'm loving the journey. I'm loving helping. If I can give some intake on my life or what I think. I'm not always right. I'm not perfect. None of us are. We're all imperfect people. But I can give you some suggestions on the do's and don'ts of life. And I'm grateful to Mike and Andy for Vegas Podcast Studio.
Our pleasure. We love you.
Yes. And I also want again, I'm going to thank Kyla for getting our episodes out.
Our young intern.
All right.
Her
Thank you,
thing.
Kyla. But I'm going to start off season 2.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a little snippet of it, okay?
What are they looking forward to?
So I'm going to start off season 2 with a letter to my younger self.
I like that.
So I'm going to give you guys a little sneak peek of the letter. Not the whole letter, just a little bit.
We need some tissues.
No, we're good.
Okay. I'm scared.
Okay, so I'm going to start off my letter to my younger self. I want to start by saying, you are beautiful, loved, and worthy. Your mom knew your name when she heard a lady in a store call out to her daughter, April. She knew if she had another daughter, her name would be April. And here I am, the 6th child of my mom and dad. The family was growing. Mom and Dad had blueprints drawn up for a new addition to the house. Well, Dad wasn't moving fast enough. You're moving a little slow, so Mom got busy and started moving the bricks to the house. By the way, your dad is an amazing bricklayer. Dad came home from work and Mom was busting out a wall while pregnant with me. Well, with you. I'm talking to my younger self. Hopefully this will answer some of your whys you have today. Anyway, you grew up in a big, beautiful home. Your parents love you in their own way. And like all parents, they do their best to keep their children safe and protected. But did they? So that will start off season 2. We'll start off with my letter.
Yes,
That's
I
deep.
love that. I love that. I'm excited for it. I'm so proud of you to be so vulnerable and just putting it out there. That takes courage, you know.
Well, and I'm going to say, because for people that are watching, putting your story out, it's not easy. It's not easy.
No.
Everybody will have something to say. Everybody got, but that's just like, but you know what? If my story helps someone to better themselves, no matter what my story is, whether the good, the bad, the ugly, that's what I'm here for.
Yes.
Because again, none of us are perfect.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to end with my little quote and then close out. Stillness is often the doorway to both hearing the Holy Spirit and accessing intuition. Psalm 46:10, be still and know that I am God. Continue to love, have faith, believe in your dreams. God can do all things. Just ask for a little help.
Yes.
See you in season 2.
Woo!
All right.
And that's a
Peace.
wrap.